Hello, this is the Silver Watchman, and welcome back to BeanQuest Episode II. So, I had a plan. The second that red light came on, I have no plan. Okay, now we're gonna talk about a very specific thing. Food. Now back in the older days, we were not allowed to eat specific foods because they were considered unclean. I mean, they're still unclean, but once we got to a certain point, then God pretty much pointed out that whatever you put inside of your mouth does not make you dirty. It's what comes out of your mouth that makes you dirty, meaning what you speak. So, if you eat if you eat, let's say, some pork, you gotta be very careful though, because it's a dirty animal, but God never really explained how it's a dirty animal, except for this. Just that it's dirty, because it's got weirdness in its feet. But then we learn later on why pork is dirty, why pork is considered a dirty animal to eat. And we learned what that pork has a lot of parasites in it and a lot of diseases inside of it, which is, I mean, oh my gosh, it's almost ridiculous the amount of like, if you eat pork undercooked, you could get like a pretty reasonably long list of sicknesses or diseases. And it's just like, all right, it drives home the point of it's a dirty animal, and you really got to be careful when eating it. But thanks to what God had done, we can eat it without really much worry making ourselves dirty. It's still a dirty animal though. We gotta be careful. But if you cook it properly and make sure to clean the meat properly, then it should be okay to eat it. You wouldn't get sick. Another animal that would be considered dirty, I mean, a clean animal to eat is deer. Believe it or not. Deer, cow, I guess chicken could be also considered a dirty animal, because if prepared improperly, you can get really sick from eating chicken. Why is that? Because you can get something known as salmonella from chicken, which is what happens when chicken is left out for too long. It gets this like weird pinkish fluid on it, and it just, you can get sick. And you just have to make sure just to cook the chicken really well. Other than that, like, it's got to be cooked all the way through. And if it's not, you can get sick. But as I was saying, you're not really made dirty by what you put into your mouth. And please don't test the limitations of what I just said. I know some people here are going to try, but still. But the power of life and death is in the tongue, as we saw in Proverbs. So, with that, and keeping that in mind, with the tongue, with what we speak, we could speak death to somebody by cursing them to death. And yes, those actually do work. Or we could bless them. We could bless them, regardless of how they are. Which, that is honestly one of the hardest things to do, because, let's face it, some people are just they're like a sour ham sandwich with moldy cheese of a person. And you really can't help that about them. That's just them. They're a sour ham sandwich of a person. And, you know, since this is kind of almost a food-related game, you're going to be seeing a lot of food-related puns. Oh no, I think I broke the game. Or just made it really hard for me to make progress. Oh, good. Oh, no. Alright, so... I guess while I'm trying to figure out how to get forward in this level that I just made practically impossible for me to move forward, we're going to continue on. What we say has the power to help out somebody or to really, really hurt someone. Because unlike repairing something, we can't really fix what we had said. Nor can we really take it back. The most we can do is apologize for what we had said. Well, we can't take back what we had said. Which is why it's written in the Bible that we can make ourselves dirty not by what we put in, because we could eat some of the weirdest and grossest looking things ever. I mean, me personally, I love eating octopus. Even though it's a smooth-skinned fish, and that's considered in the Old Testament a filthy animal. Why? Because if prepared improperly, like smooth skin or fish without scales, are considered dirty animals because of the fact of this. Yes, chili and rice does sound really good. And no, I'm on a different tangent. Alright, so the fish that have scales can be eaten pretty much raw, and you wouldn't experience too much of an issue. But fish without scales, you have to prepare them very, very specifically, or else you can get sick. Like if you eat an octopus without properly preparing it, you could pretty much poison yourself. Same thing if you're eating a cuttlefish, because they have, I believe, what is known as something like a venom sac or something like that, something weird. Oh no, I'm thinking of the porcupine fish. You know, that fish that goes, herp, and then they just go into like this really big ball. You know, they go, herp. You know what I mean? Probably not. It makes more sense if you could see my face, but I'm not going to show my face right now because, you know, reasons. So, oh, I did it again. Oh no. Okay, good. Oh, it's one of these puzzles. So, continuing on. And also, this BeanQuest series is going to be a very... It's not going to be like the other series that I normally I did it again. It's not going to be like the other series that I normally have on my channel, which are very, very serious. This one is going to be a very relaxed kind of... It's a kind of like a chill out series. Not unlike the Bible series. The Bible series is very serious in itself. Even though I have the speaking ability of somebody that has when I speak for extended periods of time, my stutter comes through, and so does my lisp. And then it's a mess. It's a mess. But I really do love the Bible series. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite series on this channel to be running. Because there are moments where I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And then there's moments like how I saw in Ezekiel, and it was just like, wow. This gives so much context to what I was trying to teach earlier. It's just like such a wow moment. Oh, right. Animals. So filthy animals are, and also like animals that are shelled animals, like shellfish. That's also considered a filthy animal. Even though you won't go to hell for eating it, it's just we can eat it now because God has made it so that way we can eat it and not really worry. Because now we're in a day and an age, which is why he had in the New Testament put that we're made filthy not by what we put in, but by what comes out of our mouth. So naturally, if we watch what we say, like if you say things the wrong way, like if you curse, that'll make your soul filthy. That'll cause you to sin, because cursing is a sin. And me, that is one of the things. Every man and every man of God has a bit of something that they gotta face up against, that they have a hard time facing. Be it drugs, murder, cursing, sexual immorality, murder, lying, and some other stuff that I don't really have the time to mention right now. Every man has something that he has to go up against as far as his own darkness. But back to what I was saying earlier. What we put in, another thing that we could put into our mouths and eat, is a communion. What is the communion? Well, the communion is this. It is the body and blood of God. It's a representation. We are supposed to take of it in remembrance of the sacrifice that God had made. we are to take of the bread. Oh, right. And then there's a specific type of bread that you gotta... This is why some things are called... what's the word? Kosher. And other things are considered not kosher, meaning it's clean or it's unclean. Oh, yeah, and human meat is definitely unclean meat. Don't eat human. And if you eat a human being, or at least some human flesh, that opens up a portal, makes you a living, breathing doorway for them. So, in which case, don't do it. Like, when I say don't do it, I mean don't do it. That's one of those few things that, like, that's a very big no. That's a very big no. Don't do it. Don't do it. I can't stress this enough. Don't actually do it. Don't. Just don't. That's a no. Just don't. Trust me. Just no. Don't eat people. Don't eat people. I would stress this more, but I'm running out of time. So glory be to God. Blessings be upon you all. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sitting and listening. And, for sitting back for this little more relaxed... This more of a relaxed series. Which we honestly need on this channel. A few more of them, because... My gosh, things get heavy. But... Glory be to God, and it's an honor that I get to do this every single week for you people. Glory be to God. It's an honor. Thank you all. Blessings be upon you all. And this is a Silver Watchman. Signing out.